to another episode of the Taco Time Podcast. I am Anthony DT Zakella, and I am joined today by my friends in Three Floating. Please introduce yourself, sir.
What's up, guys? I am Sam from Three Floating. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm here with my co-creator and cousin. Who's this guy?
So, I'm Aidan. 1/3 of the floating. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
And Aidan is 33% of floating. I'm into it.
In fact, 33.3333333%.
Into infinity.
Never ends.
It never ends. So, you guys are actually like local buddies of mine. So I was like, okay, you should definitely come on because you're awesome people. And I think people are interested in you. So let's talk a little bit about who you are, how you got started, why you guys are in FAB. And, you know, I know that your vlog has kind of exploded pretty quickly, which is awesome. Congratulations for that. And like completely deserved, right? Like the production quality is insane. I'm pretty sure Aidan is the mastermind behind editing and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. So you've been doing a stellar, killer, amazing job. So I just wanted to get into first, who are you guys? Where did you come from? Nobody knew who you were 3 months ago, and now everybody knows who you are. So tell me about your journey through the flesh and blood ether and how you found your way to prominence in our little community.
I mean, I think we got to start with Sam because he was the first one of the three of us to find the game and started the whole chain reaction.
The progenitor, as it were. Sure.
Yeah.
Let me start.
How'd you find Flesh and Blood, Sam?
How did I find Flesh and Blood? I'm pretty sure I just got the professor's video recommended to me on YouTube. I am pretty sure that is how it started for me, as I saw Tulare Community College's How to Play Flesh and Blood, and I was curious about it. And I had been playing a lot of Commander and was kind of getting disillusioned of the format as like because I got back into card games after a really long time of not playing.
Okay.
And there was something about Commander that was like, I was really suddenly enjoying the outlet of it. Like, being like I was 24 at the time and just like, oh my God, it's so great to be like playing cards again and meeting new people. And this is so cool. I'm loving this as part of my life again. But there was something about Commander that just wasn't like doing it for me, like just kind of at a core level of like, what is this game at its core?
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw the video of Flesh and Blood. I got curious, started playing. And pretty much as soon as I played the first game with my cousin, like literally at that table over there, I was like, oh shit, like this is the truth. But I really just played like in this house with my cousin and my girlfriend for like 9 months. I played from like right when Tales released to the first ProQuest I ever went to, which was I think an Uprising season.
Mm-hmm.
I played you in my first ProQuest ever. And because I mean, honestly, it's expensive. And so like, I knew I wanted to eventually go to an armory and stuff and like play and really do it. But I wanted to play good decks and I wanted to play with like the best cards. So I didn't. And I'd also never done that with Magic. I had never gone and played FNM. I had never gone and done anything like that. So I was a little intimidated.
Like a real kitchen table gamer, you guys were.
Yeah, totally. Well, I played a lot of Magic in high school, but it was all like no rules. We had no formats. It was just me and my friends in high school, like on the, literally on the like top of the elementary school.
That's
just
awesome.
Like sneaking up there and playing Magic. But yeah, I just slowly built up a collection.
And you guys just play Magic on top of
this. Literally in high school. Yeah, just like played a bunch of Magic and D&D and yeah, and then Aidan came over. Like pretty soon after that, like a month after my first ProQuest. So I had not really been actually like in the scene when Aidan came up for the first time, and then what happened from there, brother?
Well, yeah. So what's funny is actually it was, I think my parents or something said like because they had heard through my aunt and uncle that Sam was getting into this new game and that my like parents. He was your parents. And they were like, Sam's really getting into this game. He's doing it. You know, it sounds like something that Aidan would be into because way back when Sam was the one who introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons, I never really like played Magic. All my older cool cousins played Magic, and so I was like the little cousin. This guy. I was just like collecting the cards because I thought they like looked cool. I went in on some booster, like the big boxes of them. I forget exactly the sets, but Sam's playing this game called Flesh and Blood, and so he'd been living in LA. I've been living in LA doing school. I go to USC just studying film stuff, and he lived like a 15-minute drive away from me, and somehow we hadn't connected really in LA yet. But yeah, pandemic. It's just tough. Here's this game. So I like text Sam. I'm like, oh, okay, what is this thing? Like, my parents told me you were getting into this new hobby. And he's like, come over, we'll have dinner, I'll show you the game. Sit down. It's a nice, like, summer evening, that like nice LA weather, just like the best. And we're just sitting out there, a glass of whiskey, and he's showing me all the cards that he's collected so far. And he shows me what a Fabled is, his first like Fabled that he ever pulled, the Eye of Ophidia, and is describing like the rarity of some of these cards. Shows me like the card market. I've never seen cards that like in such a niche place that like carried such value. And then we got down, wheeled out one of the classic Flesh and Blood mats. I'm looking at these things, combat chain, pitch. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. And really, it was just the moment he handed me a card and was like, so here's how you play cards. All your cards do everything. and that, I was like, I think it was the Smash Bros player in me. Like, I know a lot of people have compared this game to fighting games, where Magic is a real-time strategy game. Flesh and Blood is a fighting game because you come in top power, you have access to all your tools. I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then like I pitched the resources. I was totally ready for it to go into the graveyard. And at the end of this little mock turn, we're sitting out there, like the sun setting on downtown LA. He's like, your pitch now goes on the bottom of your deck. And I was like, dude, this is the truth. Like, I get it. Like, I don't get it, but I got it right there. Then and there, I was like, this game is nuts. Like the skill level, the skill ceiling was just so exciting. I was like, I know nothing. I'm ready to learn. I want to get as good at this as I can, because this is nuts.
2 top 8s later.
Yeah. It sounds like Aidan had like a how would you say it? Like a religious experience that night.
Yes, a religious awakening, 100%. I love that story.
The LA skyline with the pink sunset.
Yeah, dude, it was right there.
I knew that Dash.
Dude, I remember when
I knew Dash.
When I did that, when I was like, and the pitch goes on the bottom, Aiden's face literally was like,
just mind blown.
Yeah, he was just floored. So yeah. That was that.
But that's not the origin of 3 floating. I don't know if that's
No, we'll get into that. We'll get into that for sure.
Cool.
I just want to feel out like your journey. So it sounds like, Sam, you played for like 8-9 months before you even like showed up at a shop. Was Odyssey the first shop you played at?
Oh yeah. So I was in a play when I was getting into the game. Okay. And so I had like no time at all. And then for the winter, I was just acquiring cards, and my work schedule made it really hard. And the only event that worked around my work schedule was this thing called the Pro Quest. And I was like, and I looked up what it was, and I was like, all right, this feels intense for my very first time ever playing Game of Flesh and Blood, not against either my cousin or my girlfriend, but I gotta just break the ice and do it. And I brought Lexi, and my first game was into a Prism, and I had Yuki's list, and I was like, I know what I'm supposed to do. I think I just do the light, just attack as hard as I can. And I set up a 6-card arsenal, or a 6-card hand, and he came in for 14, and I looked at the cards. I'm like, I think I can do more than 14.
Did you win that game?
I'm 100%. I won that game, dude. Yeah. I'm 1-0 into Prism all time.
Let's go.
100%.
Ready for Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to talk.
But yeah, then so that was my first event. I played you in like round 4. I want to say. I remember you told me that.
That was the first time you played.
Yeah.
Out.
Wow,
that's awesome, dude.
You told me I played a good game, which made me feel good.
Hey, look at me. Aidan, when was your first experience like playing out?
It was when Sam had then, after that, we talked about it more because I obviously caught the spark, and I had to go home anyway. COVID, weird times. We did some. We started playing games on
TTS.
TTS, yeah. Just first with the Blitz games. I think we played like with the Blitz starter decks like 2 times before Sam was like, all right, we got to play with some real decks because like it's like he just really wanted to show me what Classic Constructed was. So then we started playing that, and I was running Dorinthia at the time because I just really liked the tenets of like the attack reaction stuff, and it seemed to carry a lot of what I wanted to be doing in Flesh and Blood, which is, you know, blocking and engaging with my opponent in those really cool interactive ways. So learning through that, and then was back in LA, and Sam was like, there's these events called Armories. They happen every week. They're at Odyssey, which was a game store that I was already familiar with because my girlfriend introduced me to that game store because she found it online and thought it was super cool because it had a castle in it. And we went there on a date together and got like a bunch of dice and D&D stuff and some fun board games. So I was already familiar with the store, and I was like, oh my God, Odyssey. I love Odyssey. So I went over to Sam's house. We carpooled over, and our Blake had his Dory deck and basically said to Sam, literally anytime, like, he can come and use my Dory deck. And I was really nervous because I was like, I don't own any of these cards. These cards are expensive. I want to get in the game. And right away, Sam's like, there's this guy at the store, and he will let you use this deck literally anytime you come, so you have to come play. And I was like, already, that's just, I love that story, just like how it really does feel like what this community feels like. Everyone just wants to bring new players into the game, and it's just super nice, like, about like getting you onboarded. Like, I showed up, I had learned Dorinthia doing the TTS stuff, I'd played the Blitz deck and slowly introduced, you know, the more powerful cards. And I show up to my first armory, I get the Blitz deck together, and I run into Oldhim, Icelander.
Jesus.
And I had only played like Bravo and Lexi by, and I'm just like, I'm being taxed, I'm being grinded down to the last minute. But I was able to take 2 games out. So I went 50-50 that night, and I was like, I was super proud of that because everyone was like, those are your hardest matchups, and like it was like tough luck, buddy, you know. But I don't know, I was just mentally on fire, not win rate, but yeah, that was my first time, and then continued to go to the Odyssey events after that. Then I spent some time really looking at, okay, what are the other heroes in this game, and Sam had showed me pretty much every hero in art except for Dash. And I think something about that was like, I saw these cards, I was like, there's a pistol wielding mech item, like, what? And I think it was literally just the flavor of Dash that then made the leap, and was actually a super great way for me to get in the game because it sort of forced me to get a crown back before they were ludicrously expensive.
Yeah.
Sam gifted me a tunic for my birthday to get me in. Well, yeah, such a sweet boy. And then I got a.
I had ulterior motives. I had ulterior motives.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him something expensive, so he was like, "Oh, I don't have to buy this, so I'll keep playing."
And it worked. And then, you know, I mean, really, he just gave me his tunic because he knew he'd come over to my house like a couple weeks later and just with some loose Wraith packs just pull a rainbow foil tunic, and that became his new tunic, or his backup tunic. Yeah,
it was all planned.
That is what happened.
You know, I think when Aidan said everybody's so nice in this community and they just like want people to come and learn and play, I think that what really is happening is what Sam did. I think that most of us just want people to play with, so we're like, yeah, come on, we'll be nice to you. And then once we get you hooked, then it's like full contact. You're no holds barred. There's definitely ulterior motives.
Oldhim, Icelander.
Exactly. Well, it's a cool thing. Honestly, it's I think what you're kind of alluding to is the thing that was the disconnect for me with Commander, which was like, we're just here to have fun, but you're also trying to win, but there's no rules, so nobody knows how powerful anybody's deck is, but we're just here to have a good So like there was this like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah.
And like with Flesh and Blood, like you sit down from your opponent, you're trying to win.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm trying to win this game. This is a 1v1 thing that I'm going to win, but you are super cool and I don't want to like this is great and everybody here is super nice. But I like that there was like something straightforward about like I'm trying to win this game right now.
Sure. It's like
That's
I've only played one game of Commander, but I used to play a lot of Magic. Like I was a
yeah.
really serious Magic player. I'm super old. So when I played Magic, it was like I stopped playing Magic in 2004, right? And
Well,
yeah, I'm old, bro. So
I was 3 years
you
old.
were there you go. Um, so when you were 3, I was traveling to like nationals, right? So
say
but that's what I loved about Magic back in the day is exactly what you just said, Sam. Like there was an objective. It was you. It was me. We're sitting across from each other. We can be
yeah.
friends, but I'm gonna kill you. And then I think one of the reasons I kind of stopped playing Magic, or like, because I stopped hard in like 2004, and then I like jumped back in like 2007 and played for a little bit, and then again in 2011, and as I came back each time, the game got a bit more casual, like which is fine, right? It's fine to have fun casual games, but it didn't speak to me the same way that it used to when I was in high school and stuff. And when I tried playing Commander, I've played like 1 or 2 Commander games ever. When I tried playing a Commander, then it was like kind of what you said. It's like this nebulous thing. Like nobody knows exactly what's going on, and like it doesn't really matter how good you are.
Yeah, it's about vibes.
Yeah,
it's about vibes.
It's all vibes, which is cool, but it's also
Yeah.
about politics, which I hate. It's like, yo, dude, if you promise not to kill me, I'll kill that guy, and then I'm that guy, and I'm like, what the hell did I do to you? And you're like, well, we don't know you, so we're gonna kill you.
I'm that guy.
I don't want to be that guy.
You're not that guy, bro.
Yeah, but you're not that guy. You're not that guy. So for me, like, I see the appeal of Commander, and like, it seems fun enough, and I see the guys playing it after tournaments. Like if somebody scrubs out, they'll have like a little side Commander game or whatever, and it seems fun enough. But like, it just doesn't speak to me the way that FAB does, because naturally I'm a super competitive person, and like, it doesn't mean I don't like my opponents. Like some of my closest people that I talk to now, like, are people that I met playing FAB. You know what I mean? But
Totally.
there's something about that competitiveness that really grips me, and I think that may be why FAB has grown as it has. Like people that were almost like disaffected Magic players are like, oh, I remember this. I want to do this. You know?
Yeah, it's a total outlet for that energy that is super like it's a great way to let out like competitive energy in a way that's so healthy and like really satisfying and fun and like it's I think that's a totally normal thing for people to want to engage in and like mental games of strategy have literally been around since we made fire, and
Yeah.
so but like it's a great way to have that experience. I totally agree.
I was talking to Tyler Horsepool a couple weeks back, and he was saying the reason he likes FAB so much is because he's always played games, right? And his 2 favorite games to play were poker and chess. And he said the reason I like FAB so much is because it's chess, right? Like there is some variance, but there's no world where you just get like constantly high rolled. Whereas in Magic, like you can get mana screwed and stuff. Like if I can make the game go long enough and I can do everything right and make more correct decisions than my opponent, I have like the agency to win the game, right? Whereas with Magic, you could just like not draw a land for 3 turns in a row and just be dead, right? And I think that's pretty true. Like there's something special about FAB where like it's not just a game, like it is a game and it's a fun game, right? And that's cool, but like it's also puts you in constant situations where your brain is working, like, and it's like strategy, and it's like, okay, you're constantly like scheming and plotting and like planning a turn or 2 ahead. Whereas with Magic, it's like I don't know what's on top of my deck, and I'll never know what's on top of my deck. There's no pitch stacking, right? So you can kind of guess, but whatever. And then you might get lucky, you might not. Whereas with FAB, it's like you can plan a lot better, and there's that aspect of the strategy there. And so I think that it's just a little bit more mentally engaging as well. Have you guys played? So you both played a little bit of Magic. Sam more than Aidan. Aidan, did you play any other card games ever, or did you play D? You said you'd played D&D, or like how?
I I played D&D. I think that's like the close. Like honestly, a lot of stuff for me. When I was first learning the game, I was definitely translating that from Dungeons and Dragons with the concept of the action point, bonus action, reaction.
Sure.
Like a lot of the language was the same. And I felt comfortable making that leap. But yeah, other than like collecting Pokemon cards, collecting Magic cards, I I had learned how to play Magic in high school, but I never went to a game store. I just had a couple like uh, pre-con decks, and I would play them against Sam's super overpowered decks, or like uh, um, or like when I was first meeting Jacob, um, he loves Commander, and so I picked up a new pre-con deck. I forget which one it was. A Voltron deck, and uh, he taught some of my roommates who had never played any card games, and I had played and sort of knew the lingo, and it was fun to sit down and play him like that. But that was it for me in terms of card games. Like FAB is the first time I've really dived in.
Sure.
And I think taking the time to get good.
Sometimes I wonder if there's a bit of an edge that you develop by not having any previous experience, because like maybe Sam can speak on this too. Do you ever find yourself making decisions that might be detrimental to your games because of things that you take from Magic? Like this could happen because it happened in Magic. Because I think I do that sometimes.
I think maybe at the beginning when I was really playing a lot of Magic, I was kind of like considering it more like Magic as I played. What I found now, in almost the inverse of that, is like, because I've taken this so much more seriously, and I've really like wanted to understand it at a nuanced and deep level beyond anything else I've ever done. Like now when I go back and play Magic, I'm like, oh yo, I'm gas at this. Like I feel like the stuff I'm learning from FAB, I'm able to like apply to other games that I either used to play or play now. It's like I can feel just the way that those muscles have been stretched. Like, oh yeah, okay, this is like this, and which has been super fun, super satisfying to be like, hell yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are cousins. Where does Jacob come into this picture? How do you meet this guy?
Dude, great question. Because like, how the fuck? Who is this? That's all you, Aidan.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything. He just showed up one day.
No,
It's like, hey guys, you want to play Commander?
No, so Jacob I met freshman year of college,
Okay.
through my really good friend and roommate Cooper. We met literally the first week of school. He had always talked about Jacob, specifically in the context of you and Jacob would be really good friends, because I'm not into nerdy like card game D&D like anime shit, but I love this guy and he totally is. So you two need to meet at some point.
Okay.
And we met at a college party over in Claremont when I was visiting my sister, and slowly became friends just through friend group stuff. But then this past year really started hanging out when he was off shooting from Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just sort of always be over at my house. And one day I had some extra time after class, and I was showing him my game chest full of all the board games and miscellaneous D&D stuff that I had. And this was like a month or so after really talking to Sam about Flesh and Blood. So I had picked up some physical Blitz decks, and they were just perfectly placed, like in the center on top of my game chest. We opened it up. It's literally the first thing he picked up. He's like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Dude, actually, this is Flesh and Blood, and you play Magic, and I'm learning this game right now. And I think you'd really like this. Like, we should open up these Blitz decks and play." And we went out into our common space. We start playing with the Blitz decks, and he's like, "This is really fun. Like, what else can we do?" And I was like, "Well, we could, play with some constructed decks. I don't really have any. I could call Sam, my cousin. He has some decks." And he was like, "How about this? Let's go to a game store, and I want to buy some boxes." And I was like, "Okay, dude." Like, we went to the game store. He buys we go there. We're talking with this was at
Turn zero.
Game Zero. Yeah.
Okay.
And we
Zero.
got
It's like Koreatown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were talking to them like what's the best box to start, and they suggested Welcome to Wraith, which I think is a perfect suggestion.
Yeah.
Jacob gets the box of Welcome to Wraith. We come back and he just starts tearing into the packs, and literally like 3 packs in, he rips open a Mask of Momentum.
Nice.
And he had seen Fi in the store and was like, I really like this guy. Like, Fi seems like my guy. Like, he's this fire ninja. Like, that's sick. Rips the Mask of Momentum. We slot that into the Fi Blitz deck, and then he starts rolling me because he has a Mask of Momentum in a Blitz deck, and I'm not. So I'm like, Sam, get over here. I'm losing. And Sam shows up. He hadn't met Jacob, so he shows up. Bottle of Japanese whiskey, more decks, lay out the
I make it sound like I'm just getting you guys drunk to learn to like.
I was about to say the moral of this entire story is that Sam is an alcoholic and he needs help.
Sam is not an alcoholic. No.
This is a cry for help.
This is actually your intervention, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sam,
people start popping on the screen. Mom, why did you wait 40 minutes in the podcast to start the intervention?
I'm gonna spend like 45 minutes on Google Images trying to find a picture of somebody that's believably your mom, and then insert them into this part when I edit it.
There you go.
Oh my god. No, yeah. Anthony and I met beforehand. They're gonna join in a couple. They're in the waiting room. No, but yeah. Then we just we played for the rest of the night, and there was just one moment where Jacob went to the bathroom, and Sam and I were standing out there, and we had talked about man, it would be cool to start a YouTube channel, just as that this. There's not a ton of, or there wasn't a ton of channels out there at the time when we were thinking about it, and we were like, this would be fun to just try to do. Total hypothetical, and we're standing there, and we're like. We were all loving it, having a great time. We're like, this is super fun, and Worlds is coming up. We should go to Worlds. We should start the channel. We should do all these things. And Jake comes out, sort of overhearing us, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's go to Worlds." Yeah, sure.
Jacob kind of out of nowhere. Jacob really just we were not really at that moment. We hadn't been really talking about it. Jacob just turns to us and just goes, "Guys, let's do it. Let's do the YouTube channel. Let's just do it." And I just look at Aidan. I'm like, "This is your boy? He's into this?" And that was because I was like, "Oh my god, I actually have people I'm really close to that are wanting to get into this. This is awesome because I'm really not obsessed, but I'm it's a lot of my free time these days, so this is great."
That actually makes a ton of sense because I remember maybe the second or third time I hung out with Jacob was at Legion. He hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go to Collector's Legion. You gonna go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Yeah.
And he walks over and we play a game. Him and I always get
every time you pair every time.
So we play our game.
So funny.
We play our game, and I'm watching somebody else finish their game because we're both playing Ninja, right? So our games are over in 6 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And I'm watching somebody else play, and he comes back. He's like, "Check this out," and he comes over with a stack, 3-inch deep stack of cards. He's like, I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Dude, I just bought a bunch of singles." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, so this makes sense that he would just walk out of the bathroom and be like, 'Oh, we're going to World? Sick.'" Right?
Yeah.
We're starting a YouTube channel next week and I just met you? Tight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's dude. Yeah, no, just that night. I have a photo somewhere. I'll send it to you so you can pull it up. But I had just restocked the film roll on my little point and shoot.
Yeah.
And I took a photo of Sam and Jacob. They're fanning out the cards in my living room, and yeah, that's a legendary photo. That is,
and that's when it all began.
That is where it all began.
And it all began there.
And then it was all that stuff was said, and then all of a sudden it Jacob was there, texting, pressuring, so are we getting the tickets? I'm getting mine. And then it was sort of okay, he got his tickets. Sam got.
I guess
his.
We're going.
And then I was like, hey, my birthday coming up. Can can you get Mom, Dad, can you get me tickets to Flesh and Blood Worlds in San Jose? And then we all had tickets, and then suddenly we were in a car driving over, and Jacob brought his camcorder, his childhood camcorder, and we just started shooting footage on it because we're like, well, this is the first Flesh and Blood Worlds. We gotta make a vlog of this.
Of course, yeah.
And then that was the first channel video.
So that's actually something interesting that I think I don't know. I wondered about it, but I think a lot of people might wonder is like the aesthetic of your guys' vlogs is so unique, especially to YouTube. Like I always was thinking like, is there like a weird filter that they're putting on? Is this an editing trick? No, this is like a camcorder, like a Sony like mini cam from like 2001 or something, right?
Yeah,
that's what you guys shoot.
Yeah,
yeah.
We get asked it all the time. I've been asked that question every event we go to. They'll be like, "How do you do the videos?" And I'll just be like, "This little fucking camcorder."
Yeah, dude,
like,
it's so funny.
This thing.
I remember
because it's
at Pro Tour. I remember watching you guys walk around with this. Like everybody that's like filming vlogs has like I saw a couple. Some people had like
a
mic and the gimbal, whatever. And you guys are walking around with this thing that like my mom would have walked around to film us in like high school playing football, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I had one of those stuff. I had one of those things as a kid. I love to make videos. It feels very familiar to at least me, and I think us, because we grew up making little videos on those camcorders. So it's like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like I remember this.
It's been honestly just like in a more technical like filmmaking way. I've found it just super fun to like work with this constraint, which is this old camera. It's like, how can we maximize like what we get out of this thing and play to that aesthetic? And that sort of like, it happened by necessity for the Worlds vlog, and then sort of serendipitously everyone was like, I really like this aesthetic, and we're like, well, I guess we have to keep shooting on it. And so like really playing with the digital zoom and just and the sort of crunchy quality of that mic. I feel like it all like comes together, and then with the sort of beats and stuff that we put over specifically the vlogs to create that feeling. And when we sat down to really like what do we want this channel to be, we put out this vlog, like a lot of people are watching it, like what do we want Three Floating this thing to be? And we were like, well, we want to be the premier gameplay channel.
Sure.
We want to bring that sort of a lot of people have described it as like a reality show or like a cooking show or something.
No, I could totally see a reality show because you guys do the cutaways where you're like, all right, so this is what was happening when I did this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because so much of the juice of like this game happens all up here. Like, you know, Sam always says that, you know, in Magic, you can look at the board and you can see a clear story at any moment, just like with the permanents that are laid down. In Flesh and Blood, you know, it's so ephemeral. It's you know, you have your turns and you can see what the life totals are at, but how do you really know who has tempo? How do you how do you get into the fun of all that decision making because all your cards do everything? And it was
and then stick around. So they don't, you can't see the story of it. They're just constantly moving, which is so fun. But if you don't get into the player's head, it's like impossible to get that insight. And like, especially for a game that's growing, and if we want new people to see it, if they just see 55 minutes of people shuffling cards and going, attack for 4, block 3, okay, pass. And it's like, that doesn't look like fun. Yeah,
I think,
but all the stuff you have to think about is so fun.
I think that there's actually something to that that's interesting. Do you guys, I don't know if you guys ever do this. I do this all the time. Do you guys ever like watch other card games like being played on YouTube? Do you ever like accidentally fall down those rabbit holes or no?
I still watch EDH shows, and I'll watch every now and then. I'll watch some like standard content.
Okay.
Or often what it is, I'll end up watching Draft. I'll watch MTG drafts on like Twitch because I think Draft is great.
I think Draft is awesome too.
I think, you know, Magic Draft is
peak,
one of the best thing that's ever existed. So I still will enjoy watching that.
So I'll watch Magic sometimes when there's a Pro Tour. I'll watch some of the feature matches, you know.
Oh yeah, I watched a lot of the last Pro Tour.
And I haven't played Magic in so long, but just understanding the mechanics of the game And like you were saying, how does tempo work in Fab? Well, in Magic, tempo is very obvious. Who's blocking and who's attacking, right? Like who's got the life lead, who's got the, you know what I mean? And it's very obvious. And so as somebody that has an understanding of the rules, like I don't really necessarily need to know exactly what the cards do. I can kind of see how the game is playing out.
Yeah.
And then when I
Totally.
watch like a Pokemon game, sometimes I'll get like on this thing where I'm like watching 2 7-year-olds shuffle their decks for like 75 minutes because they just search so much. I don't really know what's going on, but like, and maybe I know, maybe nobody knows what's going on when you watch a Pokemon game because it's happening so quickly, right? But when you watch a Flesh and Blood game, it's not like Magic can be really boring. It can be like drop a card, play a spell, pass, right? Especially if there's like kind of a stalemate on the board. But Fab, it's dynamic. There's always something happening. Somebody's always attacking. Somebody's always blocking. There's strategy happening, and I think that as far as card games go, Fab probably has the potential to be the most interesting card game to watch if somebody can get it right. And I think that you guys are getting it right, which is awesome. But adding the second layer of like what's happening in people's heads is really opening up that door to like somebody like me who's watching Pokemon, doesn't play Pokemon, doesn't know how to play Pokemon. I don't know what those kids are doing. I just see them like shuffling a lot and drawing a lot of cards and like there's some stuff on the board and then somebody just dies, right? I don't know what happened really. And with Magic, like I can kind of tell what's happening. But with Fab, it's a really small game, but B, a lot of people might accidentally stumble upon it on YouTube because of the way the algorithms work when they're searching for Magic or something like that. And then normally you would watch like an Armory stream, right? And like the quality's crap and you can't hear anybody talking. And like you have no idea what's going on if you're a new player, right? You just like, all right, whatever. But the fact that you guys do the cutaways, it allows somebody who has limited to no knowledge of the game actually enjoy what's happening because they can see like these cards are cool, that guy's doing a thing, I wonder what that guy's doing, and then all of a sudden one of you pops on there and you're like, this is what's happening and this is why I did it and this is how this interaction works. And they're like, oh, okay. So like I could see that your guys's style of production could actually like turn into, how would you say it, you guys might be like the progenitors of like a new form of gameplay, which I think is really unique. So you guys are like first in best dressed for sure. And I think that that's actually really important to growing the community. So you guys are doing awesome with that. So congrats for that. That's really cool.
Thanks.
What do you guys see happening as far as the vlog content goes? Are you getting messages or comments from people saying like, you helped me find this game? Like what's the feedback been like to that respect?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had some feedback along those lines, and it's a huge part of what gets us to do what we do and why we want to do what we're doing. Like you were just kind of alluding to, like we know that the algorithm is God, or like these videos can just be recommended to people, especially if they have just other coinciding interests. And the goal is to make either these vlogs or the gameplay or anything else we put out in the future, like it should be, if we're doing our jobs correctly, like if you don't know what the hell is going on, it's still entertaining. And if you like card games, maybe you'll be like, wait, what's this game? The game actually looks good. But even if you don't care about that, you're still like, oh, these people are fun to hang out with.
Sure.
And then if you like Flesh and Blood, hopefully it's all great because the gameplay is interesting and it's well produced, like edited gameplay. That's hard to come by. There's a lot of really great gameplay on YouTube if you already like Flesh and Blood and you don't care as much about like what it looks like. I mean, you and I have joked, Anthony, that we're just little degenerates. Like every stream ever,
yeah.
We're both in it
100%.
Every time. It's like I'm always like, what's up, bro? Like, and it's like every time because we love it. So there is stuff for us out there, but it's being able to bridge the gap. And in a funny way, we're not like, we don't explain every rules interaction. We almost explain no in a rules interactions. Like we're not trying to be the like new players place to watch gameplay because we are really trying to dumb the game down and explain that it's base level. Like we just want to make the game look fun, but also be the game and not get bogged down into like catering, kind of pandering to new players. It should just hopefully do a bit of both as effortlessly as possible.
Sure.
But that's the goal.
Yeah, I think there's a sweet spot to be found with that, and I think you guys found it, so that's awesome.
Appreciate it.
So what's in store? what's next? Do you guys have like goals that you're trying to hit? Not necessarily like subscriber goals, because those things are like arbitrary, right?
Yeah,
But like
it's numbers, small game.
Yeah, as well. But that's the thing is like it doesn't really matter what the numbers are if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you know, because there's plenty of people that have had really great vlogs or blogs or whatever channels, and they just get burnt out and tired because they're not enjoying it anymore. So like, what's the next step for you guys? What do you want to do next, or have you thought about it?
We literally, right before this, literally like in the minutes before we got onto this call, we're like planning out our next slate and just like what it looks like in the future.
What the next month to year looks like of
a huge part of what we are going to do in the future is only going to be possible thanks to our incredible sponsors at
The
Realm Games. The Realm Games. Go check them out. RealmGames.shopify.com. They are truly like the forefront of events in Flesh and Blood. I mean, I don't think that's in kind of question anymore. Like they really are in terms of like, you know, them and the Arcane Games and events. I gotta, you know, stay loyal to the local homies. But you know, they're just operating at slightly different scales right now, which is just how these things go.
Yeah.
And they have been just unbelievable in their support initially of us, and also just in the belief of the vision that we're kind of talking about for growing the game and having the ability to put all this stuff out on the channel without having it be, like you said, so that we don't get burned out and miserable. Their support has made it so that we can look to see like, okay, how can we create something sustainable and manageable and continue to try to grow. But Aidan, you want to talk about anything? What should we talk about? What's coming up?
Oh, I mean, like so much. We basically are realizing what the sweet spot is for fight nights in a month, and what we can do in terms of other content to really instate ourselves as like a pillar for Flesh and Blood content. Like that is what Through Floating is. That is what we've always wanted it to be. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to reveal too much, but like other very fun ways of exploring the game and engaging with us, and just really trying to make Through Floating all of the above and continue to grow the game, expand it in ways. I think, you know, some people have asked about us doing our own take on a learn to play video, so that might be something in the future. We have some other like game show-esque type fun things that might not be the usual way how you currently enjoy your Flesh and Blood, but maybe you'll enjoy it with a side of fries.
Keep it going. Come on. Here we go.
And a
don't
glass
feel
of whiskey,
don't,
I guess.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Don't feel pressured to reveal anything, but tell us everything right now.
Yeah, well, I think what hopefully, as long as everything goes to plan this month, like we're trying to, you know, really have weekly releases as kind of as the standard from this month moving forward. So that is definitely the goal, and it's not going to be, you know, a fight night every week because we would be dead. But it will be, you know, we want those to feel really consistent, and those should be kind of, you know, hopefully a good like beating heart of what is currently both competitive in Flesh and Blood, but also interesting and entertaining, and making sure we're keeping it, you know, both sides of that coin, while also trying to engage with the content sphere in a way that isn't, I guess, time demanding, but also like just dynamic and keeps it interesting, keeps it fun.
Sure. And that's the thing too, I think that people take for granted is like, so for me, like I've been doing this channel for like 2 months. It's really fun. I had no idea how to edit before. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm learning on the fly. And probably a week I dedicate 3 or 4 hours to this. Like it's an hour of filming and like trying to figure out who's going to be on the pod, who can make it. It's 2 hours of like, you know, inserting images and stuff like that. And my podcast is extremely basic, right? So the amount of time that you guys must
don't
put
undersell
in,
yourself.
No, but I'm saying like, you know, it's a thank you. But it's like a very basic overlay. My whole goal with this podcast is to like get to know people deeper, because I don't think that there's anything really like that in the FAB space, which is why I'm not doing like deck techs and stuff really, because I want to like get to know the people behind the cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
and so it's very baseline that way. But your guys' podcast is, or like vlogs are insane. Like the production quality is crazy, right? So that 10-minute, 15-minute video that you guys put out, or 20 or 30 for a fight night or whatever it is, it has to take you guys forever to produce. Like the editing, the production, the setup, it has to take forever. So that seems like the really, the amount of dedication that goes into that has to be crazy. Does it take you guys like an average fight night? What does that take? Like how much time does that take you guys?
We were literally just
Realm game.
Yeah. We were literally, yeah. I mean, realm games. Like,
is Keith gonna make you get like the realm tattooed on your neck? You would do it too. You guys,
it's already, dude. Here it is. Check it out.
Yeah.
You
Rub
guys,
off the makeup. Yeah, we did a little cover up job.
The best shills for the realm. I'm like the last two videos I watched, I'm like, these guys are killing the sponsorship, man. If I had money and some kind of bit, like I don't like if I owned like a chicken farm, I would go to you guys. I'd be like, I need you guys on my team.
Chicken farms, we're looking for your support.
Yes, exactly. We are big fans of the meat industry.
Yeah.
So anybody in the meat industry that wants.
Yeah. Yeah. Average time. Well, so in order to plan, probably like, we got to figure out what decks we're playing, what's cool and exciting in the meta right now, what haven't we done, who's playing, and then what other hands and help can we get to come help us shoot. That has been Justin Luwag of Arcane Games and Events. He has been a saint with some of these more crazy shoots, like the Josh Lee Kwai one was a total crunch shoot that literally wouldn't have happened without him. So huge thanks to him. But getting all that coordinated, yeah, getting that coordinated is like 2 to 3 hours, and then driving out to Jacob's place, which is where we shoot everything, and then doing the full shoot day. We have 2 major setups. We have our gameplay setup, we have the interviews, any additional skits or sponsored setups. That's like a 8-hour shoot day. So call that 10 hours, and then when
hopefully we can get it down to 4, man.
Yeah,
we gotta get that down to 4 for one game.
We're all just
we lost an entire game last time because I didn't take 5 damage off an E-strike.
Yeah. So
I literally just didn't take 5 damage.
But like I like, as funny and terrible as it is, I think that is part of the content creation grind, which is that, and with really any production like ever, people will say that you can plan for everything and something will go wrong, and I think you have to go for the love of it, and you have to, like, that has to drive you through, and when things fall apart, you put them back together and you keep going, and hopefully hug it all out at the end of the day. And the shoots are so fun, but stuff does go wrong, and it gets tough, and then we hit post-production, which I'm getting Sam up to speed, so he's gonna be doing this with me. But the fight nights right now take 35 to 44 hours of editing. Wow. So a lot of editing, a lot of work, and also support from people I love and who care about me and care about the projects I'm invested in. That's Sam and Jacob. That's also another one of our cousins, Cameron Taylor. He does all of our overlays. My girlfriend wrote our theme song. My best friend, August Masarchik, fantastic musician, August Mez, he has made incredible beats and stuff for us to back and have music throughout these whole videos. That's all timed and paced. I make music for these videos. My dad, Julian Kwasneski, Bay Area Sound. At the end of every edit, I get all the audio stems and files to him, and he does a full master track down and assembles it and really makes it all crisp and compressed professionally for streaming, which is stuff that, that's his line of work. So having access to all these incredible people, the Realm Games, it really is, yeah, and just friends and family who like, I don't really know what this Flesh and Blood thing is, but I watch the videos because they're cool and I love watching you, and all the positive feedback. Like when I'm in the trenches, hour 27 of fight night and my computer crashed and I lost 2 hours, so I know we're going up to that 42-hour mark. Just hopping on over to Twitter, checking the teaser, and seeing the excitement of the community. That is what pushes me through. I like the love that people have been giving to these videos, and just the fun and like just the love of the game. Like I want to continue to make the best content for Flesh and Blood. I want to continue to grow the channel, introduce new exciting videos, and it makes every hour of that 50 to 60 range worth it.
But we're very blessed in that Aidan is. I mean, this would literally not be possible if we didn't have the help that we did. But also, if Aidan like wasn't a student, and Aidan doesn't have an entire full-time job yet.
He does now.
So like this, he shit, man. But like the finals month was rough for my boy. But we are aware that this has only been possible in this way because of just kind of the nature of where we've been at this point in our lives. I'm graduated, I have to work, but because Aidan has had the time to devote to this, we've been able to get it off the ground to a point where now, hopefully, as we transition into like the rest of our lives and we do get work and we school wraps up and winds down, like we are turning this into something that can be sustainable and doesn't take that as long, and we can split the labor up. This would not have been possible if we were just working. Like,
No,
all of us were working in the way that I have to, and Jacob's gone. So we definitely got lucky in that lightning struck when Aidan was able to edit like this.
Some serendipity at play here.
Yeah,
that's awesome
for sure.
What is your hope for the next year? What do you want to accomplish? Nebulous question. On purpose. What's your hope for the next year? What do you want to accomplish? As creators, as people, what are you looking for? What's happening?
I want to feel, I mean, this is not really about like what we release, but I really want to feel locked in and just like thriving in the kind of routine that we create, and like really feeling like we do this every month. We get to be creative every month, but we like know what the hell we're doing, and we like take it seriously and execute it well, and thus are then able to iterate and grow and like get bigger. For none of this was, I mean, if we were in this for the YouTube money, we would have picked a different game. It's like we're here because we just love interacting with Flesh and Blood like this, and getting to go to cool events and getting to do cool opportunities. But so the growth of it is not the thing that's like the bulletin board material for me. The bulletin board material for me is to feel just like fucking sick in the making of it, and then thus whatever happens of the product, like we get to, we just like getting to meet cool people and like do a cool podcast and go to fun events, and but if I had to pick a goal, it would be to get James White on the show.
Boom. There it is.
It's out there now. It's out there
now.
That's
what I want.
We're gonna manifest it, and for you, Aidan,
please,
tell me, sir.
Please. I won't beg, but I will.
But I will. Watch me
now. I mean, wow. Yeah, I think I definitely concur with everything that Sam just said. I want. I guess the word for me is my manifestation word is reliable. I want Three Floating to be reliable. I want you to be able to, like, right now it's been Fridays. I really do like the idea, the iteration, or what is it? The enunciation of Three Floating Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fun. But I want there to be a day of the week that people like, even without. I mean, obviously, we'll always have to do the social media promotion stuff. That's just the way the game is. Sure. You got to put together good teasers, and those are really fun to put together. But just even without that, like for people to be tuning in on Friday, knowing that they can get their video at this time, like even sort of like expecting what it is, and yeah, continuing to put out a variety of high quality content that I think people connect with, and yeah, I want to tell cool stories in this game. I want to tell, like, I feel like every game of Flesh and Blood tells a story. I also love telling stories. That's what I hope to do um, outside of Flesh and Blood and for the rest of my life, and in Flesh and Blood. So um, yeah, reliability and good stories. That's my 3 floating wish list.
Nice, nice. Well, on that note, gentlemen, we've reached 55 minutes of your beautiful faces. So I want to wrap it up. Tell us where we can find you guys. Tell us all the good stuff. Tell me about your socials. Any shout outs you have. The Rum Games.
Rum Games!
Tell me.
Take it away, Sam.
You can find us, because I have to find something that I'm gonna have a shout out that'll go after you because I have to find it. You can find us on YouTube at 3 Floating. You can find us on Twitter at 3 Floating. You can not find us on Facebook because, man, don't really like that website. You can find us on Instagram, 3 Floating.
Yeah,
3 Floating. We'd love to hang out with you, dude. It's also so crazy and so nice when people come up and are like, love the show. Like, actually, I had TCG play order like 3 months ago, and someone was just like, love the content. And I was like,
that's awesome.
It's so nice. So we love hanging out and saying hi to people at these events. So shout out to
you. You do cool stuff on your own sometimes. That's 3 Floating related. You cast. How can I find out about your casting? What socials do you have?
Casting next up. Battle Hardened LA at Arcane Games and Events. I'm on Twitter. Sam J. Byrne. Shout out to Mom, Dad, Julian, Sierra. And I have another shout out. Hold on, I have to find it. You go first.
Sam expertly put out all of our handles. Shout out to all the people that I like already mentioned in terms of just talking about what goes into these videos. Shout out to my parents, mom and dad. Thanks for supporting me doing this stuff. Shout out to all my friends who don't know what I'm doing but love what I'm doing. Shout out to Anthony for having us here.
My final shout out is to the band Capital North.
Oh my god!
Whose music I did listen to. Those and does rock.
Suck, bro.
Is that you singing?
Yeah, that's me.
Dude, you shred, bro.
Thanks, buddy.
You're like, somebody said I'm just like,
what?
It's
band.
The band.
I
couldn't remember the name.
Epic.
You guys are embarrassing me. Don't embarrass me on my own podcast.
No, seriously though. Like this has actually just been so much fun. It's. I love reflecting, and I think that's so cool that that's your thesis for this podcast. I think that's really cool and unique, and I hope you get to know a lot of cool people in this community through this and learn about their story. It's like it's so cool. Like, thank you so much, dude.
Thanks, dudes. Well, I put both of your Twitter handles underneath your names, so if you'd like to follow these handsome young men individually, their information is right there on the screen. Please go give them a follow on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to 3 Floating's YouTube channel. Don't just go watch it, subscribe, because everybody knows that if you subscribe, it helps them in the algorithm and all that good stuff, right? So,
yeah,
if Aidan is putting in 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week, you can press one button for him, right? I'm just saying.
Dude, that's a great way to put
it.
Yeah.
So subscribe to these guys. Check them out on YouTube and all the other social media sites, except for Facebook and Friendster, because we don't like those sites because they're for boomers. And I'll see you guys next week. My name is Anthony DT Zakella. You can find me on Twitter at @OfTheTaco and on Discord at @TellTaco if you ever want to talk. Also, you can often find me jamming games on Talishar and probably disconnecting after you kill me without saying good game. So thank you guys so much for coming.
If you're playing any Ice Hero.
Yeah. You cast the 3rd Channel Lake Frigid out of Arsenal, automatic disconnect. So thanks so much, guys, for coming on. And this will be up in a couple days. And yeah, it's been real. It's been great. Thank you so much for being very engaging guests, and this was a lot of fun, and it went by super fast, and I appreciate your time. And for everybody out there in the YouTube world, please hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.